Hey everyone. Thanksgiving is over. I have no scheduling conflicts, and that means that we should have uninterrupted content until Christmas. Finally. Honestly, I was getting a little agitated that my story slowed down so much. And it only really slowed down because of these consistent breaks that I've been forced to take. I also have a side project that I've mentioned a few times before, and that's drawing a lot of my free time at the moment. But, most importantly, I've decided to aim for that 45-minute episode officially. And a cost of that is shorter introductions and outros. But you may see that this episode is, still a little bit longer than that. There might be less building descriptors, but ultimately we should have more pops in shorter spans of time as well. Without further ado, subscribe, like, share, favorite, hit that bell icon. Heck, if you don't like what you see, hit the dislike button instead. Literally, and I mean literally, any kind of interaction helps to make my channel more visible to everyone else that hasn't seen it yet. And hey, I just hit 2,000 subscribers. Huzzah! Let's jump straight into today's episode. At his typical overlook atop the Kage heads, Naruto stares out at the village and heaves a great sigh. He feels so tired these days when comparing them to the constant activity while he was away. But until all the village's troubles are put to rest and until the external threats are removed as well, he just needs to stay alert a little bit longer. From the moment he returned and set foot inside the village, his father had been acting so strange and his chakra felt so different. And it was from the top of the Kage heads that Naruto could release his sensory ability full blast with little to no interference. His dad, at least as he once was always more concerned with Naruto mastering their shared sensory technique over the flying Raijin. He was always told that with mastery of one, the other would come easily. But there were so many changes in the village that Naruto no longer viewed this as training, but as a genuine curiosity to explore what has happened in his absence. In one corner of the village, at the jail, he could sense Rock Lee's chakra. It was unique to all the chakra around him, but perhaps because he was practically unable to use chakra, it was tightly packed within him and difficult to discern. His sensory ability was like a wave emanating from him and in all directions. But as his floods struck each person, they created their own resistant wave back at him, and he became able to see them. Some waves that reflected back at him rose high, crashing powerfully against his sensory technique. Other waves were smaller, more timid, barely affecting his flooding sensor. They ripple softly, almost hidden, and lack the strength to make a significant impact. These are clearly the normal citizens of Konoha who do not have the greater chakra pools that most ninja have in comparison. Sometimes, these are the ones who feel anxious or unsure, their potential dampened and their light dimmed. Altogether, the ocean that Naruto could feel through every inch of was a mix of vibrant, powerful waves and gentle, hesitant ones. Just as the strength of a wave determines its presence in the sea, a person's confidence shapes the brilliance of their inner light. Some people were impossible to ignore for reasons obvious to Naruto, like Neji, Sakura, or his dad Minato. Others were nearly imperceptible, like Hinata or Choji. But Rock Lee was different. It was as if, according to the analogy, he did not emit waves in return to Naruto, but produced a gentle but large swell in his flooding waters without breaking the surface of the water. If Naruto wasn't paying attention, Lee could get by without detection. Not to mention, Kurama had some words of curiosity every time Naruto looked in Lee's direction. Kurama kept saying that Lee's chakra was unique, but wouldn't elaborate further. His dad was overwhelmingly powerful, and rather than his flood clashing with Minato's wave, Minato's presence literally parted the flood of his sensory ability and created a blind spot behind him where his flood could no longer reach. It was difficult to figure out how to get around that. He also wasn't sure if this was his dad's strength or simply his own sensory technique clashing with Naruto's. Meanwhile, Neji exuded a confidence that Naruto didn't think was possible for a single person. He could feel it, and at times, it was nearly suffocating to take in. Sakura was different too, but since his arrival, he had learned exactly what she had done in her absence, and so he knew exactly why she was so powerful in this way. And he was careful not to upset her chakra even from afar, and with a soft sensory technique. In these moments that he watched over the village, Naruto would observe his dad running faster than the wind through the city, creating various momentary blind spots for Naruto. He wondered to himself why his dad wasn't flashing around instead. To add to these oddities, the ground at Naruto's feet emanated chakra itself. Everything in nature that lived had chakra in it, but Naruto wasn't so precise yet with his sensory ability to pick up on these extremely slight subtleties. Even animals were extremely difficult for him to sense unless they were ninja trained like Akamaru. So the fact that he could sense the ground emitting chakra wasn't an indication to Naruto that he was getting better with the technique, but that perhaps there was something interesting beneath the ground. He wondered if there could be a natural fountain of chakra, like underground lakes of water. He wondered if maybe that was what made the founders of the village choose this location. Eventually, Naruto had reached the ocean and wondered how far along the coast he would have to travel before he could continue along the path he had been on. Something compelled him to keep going straight. When he was first left on foot from the destroyed prison, he felt like he had chosen a direction almost at random. But now that he had chosen that path, he felt a strange urge to continue along it. He figured that he had enough chakra to walk across the surface, but what if he walked blindly into the ocean and never found his way back? But when he used his sensory technique, he could feel a huge swell of vague chakra in the distance across the water. He didn't practice the technique enough, but when he felt chakra of that magnitude, he knew there was definitely something there. Taking his first step onto retreating water as the shore's waves surged to and fro, Naruto took the chance. As before, the fox's chakra was always there if he hit an emergency. He didn't like the idea of the fox just taking control whenever, because what if it took over for many more months as it had previously? But if he was in the middle of the ocean with no other escape, the fox taking over was better than not. So he walked onwards towards the chakra that seemed ever present, despite his being unable to see its source physically. He couldn't sleep at sea, since falling asleep would relinquish his chakra control and he'd simply fall into the water. So it was important that he reached his destination within, 3 days? He wondered why he was so willing to risk the fox taking over, but equally, it felt like the fox had become somewhat more docile. The various memories they had unwittingly shared with each other began to paint a picture for Naruto, but the picture was still blank in its center, and he couldn't figure out what he was meant to draw from the memories. He's already seen the fox worshipped by mankind, as well as enslaved by various powerful ninja in the past, as well as traveling alongside the other tailed beasts behind the Sage of Six Paths. Smirking, Naruto realizes that he knows what the Sage of Six Paths looked like. He didn't even know who that was before Kurama's memory unlocked it for him. Not generally the contemplative sort, Naruto found amusement and intrigue digging through these memories, now that he had literally nothing else to do. He couldn't believe that his childhood pet was Kurama, in a younger state, and wondered why the fox appeared as such. Why wouldn't he take on his normal form at that time? And was it the same with his mom? He knew she was the Jinchuriki before himself. Was the fox friendly with her? Did it employ the same mischief with her that it did with Naruto? After the expected few days passed, Naruto was shocked to be looking up at the head of an enormous turtle, its back covered in stony spikes. It approached with great haste and slowed to a stop when it finally came in range of him. He called to the turtle itself as if it somehow understood him, but it did not respond. But he was tired in more ways than one, and even if the turtle came to him by coincidence, he wouldn't squander the opportunity to climb onto its back for rest. He realized the swell of chakra he'd been following after all this time was in fact the turtle itself. Waking in a small shack, Naruto groaned and attempted to sit up before being stopped by a firm but gentle hand. "You weren't quite as lucky as me and fell into the water before you reached the shore," Sakura told him, her pink hair grown long now, wild even. "Konoha?" Naruto mumbled, wondering why it was Sakura by his side. No, silly. You're on Genbu, the island turtle," Sakura explained to him calmly. It's a very important creature for ninja and Jinchuriki alike here in the Land of Lightning. Killer Bee, the Jinchuriki of the Cloud Ninja, had been sent away to help the Land of Water surrender. So for now, it was just Sakura on the island, but she had been given instructions by Motoi to fulfill some of her own challenges and would be leaving soon. With the discovery of Naruto, though, she decided to stay for just a little while longer and help him acclimatize to the island. When Naruto asked when she arrived and how long she had been there, she filled him in that she had already been there for about 2 years. It was just such a wonderful spot for training that she couldn't possibly leave until she got all the benefit from the place. And Naruto shared what he had been doing as well, and his time was considerably more tumultuous than Sakura's, from what he could tell, though she seemed to be hiding bits of her story away and he wasn't entirely sure why. In his time on the island, Sakura was most interested in him visiting the Waterfall of Truth. They weren't exactly allowed to go there without Motoi, but with the war, he had been called away and she wasn't about to wait. Beyond the falls, as she described, was a temple of vast opportunity. But no one was allowed in without first meditating at the Waterfall of Truth and purging themselves of their uncertainty. When Naruto asked why they had to go to some special spot to meditate, Sakura made it clear to him that these falls were actually special. They were unique. "I'm just so happy to see a familiar face," she went on in her chatting with him, though Naruto wasn't exactly talkative himself. "I have a lot to atone for, honestly. Notably leaving Ino behind." Surely she's fine," Naruto suggested while they approached the Falls of Truth. "The fox has taken full control of me, and that's when I'm trying to keep it suppressed. She might be different, but if I actually drop my guard and let the fox take over, it will take over." "I've told myself the same thing," Sakura nodded as she smiled at Naruto. "Of course she's fine. She just has to be, right?" The waterfall itself was nothing to write home about. Naruto didn't understand why Sakura was trying to build it up as something that it wasn't. She directed him to sit at the small island in the middle of the pond at the base of the waterfall and meditate. She said it was a scary experience for her at first, so if he encounters something that seems dangerous, it's not necessarily. At least, not dangerous in the way that he thinks it would be. Kind of scoffing at her description, Naruto turned to her and said, "I've only been here for a few weeks and you want me doing this already?" "Naruto, I have to go soon, and I just want to see how you react to this," she told him, shrugging. "And if Motoi was here, he'd make you wait like a year and determine whether you're worthy." "I didn't take you for a rule breaker," Naruto noted, looking at the small island. "Well, the waterfall changes you," Sakura told him, blushing slightly before continuing, "as it has changed me." Shrugging, he hopped across the water and did as instructed. "How long will this take?" Naruto asked, crossing his legs as he sat. "Motoi told me the longest anyone's ever spent there in his memory is about an hour." And so, closing his eyes, Naruto cleared his mind as much as he could and waited. He could hear Sakura walking across the water and wondered what she was doing, if he was meant to be focused and quietly self-reflecting right now. She came to within feet of him, and he heard her sit down as well. Grimacing, Naruto opened his eyes to protest her interruption, only to find he was staring at himself. Unlike himself, though, this other him was in a nice orange and black outfit that had no holes or stains. This other version smiled at Naruto and exuded a warmth that Naruto had rarely felt since becoming a ninja. "Hi there," the other version said happily. "I love seeing new faces, but it's not often that I get to see my own face on someone else." "What?" Naruto asked, looking back towards Sakura, who was no longer there watching. "Is this in my head?" "I'm sure it is," other Naruto agreed. "I don't think I've ever seen myself so disheveled." "Great. Just what I need. Another version of me." Naruto sighed, rolling his eyes and looking away from this other version. "Oh, come on! Think of how much we could accomplish if we worked together," other Naruto offered, his eyes widening with excitement at the potential. "Let's start from square one." "It's nice here, isn't it? How's the weather?" "Yeah, nice, if you like staring at waterfalls all day. I don't really see much point." "Sakura!" Naruto shouted, but no one answered. I think it's beautiful here. There's so much life and possibility in places like this. It reminds me that every moment is rife with potential. Other Naruto smiled, looking around as well, but to take in their surroundings. Right. Potential. Naruto scoffed, shaking his head. What have I accomplished? Aren't ninjas supposed to have potential? And I'm the son of the Hokage. What have I done? Smiling warmly, other Naruto responded. You're not seeing clearly right now. Every experience shapes who we are. Those tough times, they can be stepping stones if we let them. Stepping stones? Naruto asked with a raised eyebrow. More like weights, dragging me down. As he finished his sentence, ghosts of Konoha villagers materialized around him, and they all began staring daggers at him. I get that, other Naruto nodded, looking around at all the ghosts. But I believe we can choose how to respond to those weights. They don't have to define us. We can use them to get stronger. How can you even be so upbeat? Naruto complained, skeptical of his positive other half. Don't you get tired of being nice to people who treat you like garbage? Not really, other Naruto shrugged. I think kindness is powerful. It can change hearts, even if it feels small to the kind. That's naive, Naruto said after a pause for thought. Is it? Other Naruto grinned. Look around us. Every flower, every ripple in this water has its own story. It's all part of something bigger. Bigger? Naruto repeated doubtfully. Yeah! Other Naruto beamed enthusiastically. Life's so full of these little connections. Even with the people who are mean, there's a reason behind their actions. Sometimes it's them who needs understanding. You never find people full of love who are also mean. It's those of us who are strong enough to be kind, who can help perpetuate that love. How does that punish their behavior? Naruto asked, disillusioned by the suggestion. We're not trying to excuse their behavior, other Naruto nodded, but it helps to see them as people, not just enemies. It helps us step back and not take it so personally. Looking down at his crossed legs and shaking his head slowly, Naruto ruminated. Why do I see them as enemies then? The possibilities that open up from such a minor shift in outlook, other Naruto smiled. You might find engaging with people differently changes how they fundamentally see you. You're saying they're mean to me because of how I see them? Naruto answered doubtfully again. It's far more challenging to be mean to a kind person than it is to be mean to another mean person, other Naruto replied confidently. I guess that makes sense, Naruto answered slowly. It's a journey, you know? Just take it one step at a time and discover what you truly want. It feels so hard to shift my entire perspective just like that, Naruto admitted, doubtful that such a big change would make his life any better. I get it. It's not easy, other Naruto nodded. But every time you experience anything, you're building a toolkit. We already have so much knowledge about ninjutsu, strategy, and teamwork. Why not use all of that as well to shape yourself differently? I don't know, Naruto frowned. All I see is darkness. I'm just the loser in the village. Every loss is a lesson for greater strength, other Naruto smiled. You're not a loser, you're a work in progress. Each setback is another chapter in the novel of memories that can help make you strong. And it's those who have faced the most darkness that are the greatest warriors. It's a great theory, Naruto answered hesitantly. But I don't see it happening as clean as you say. And so Naruto conversed with this other part of him. This other Naruto was a reflection of everything Naruto wanted to be, but wasn't. There was no struggle with the fox, he loved the village, everyone was his friend, he was powerful and skilled with everything he did. It baffled Naruto that this other version of him could ever even exist. Even the mere suggestion just felt far-fetched. Regardless, his relentless negativity on the subject did nothing to deter his other half. Part of him remembered that this was essentially a genjutsu, a trick, an illusion. Was he actually seeing his ideal self, or was this just a genjutsu meant to have him come to terms with himself? You're telling me to fake it. Fake being nice, Fake being skilled? Naruto wondered. It's not about being fake. It's about recognizing that you already have the tools. Just because someone hands you a sword doesn't mean you can't ever learn how to use it. You can still even be deadly with it while still also being bad with it. You're the son of the Hokage though, which means you have a legacy of strength behind you. You also have your own path to carve, other Naruto described carefully. Thoughtfully, Naruto answered, legacy. It'll just lead to a greater disappointment, and I don't want to disappoint everyone. Shaking his head, other Naruto said, disappointment does not equate to failure, and who even cares what everyone thinks? Be nice to them, perform at your best in everything, and before you know it, you'll be at the top of the mountain. When you stop relying on others' opinions to define you, you free yourself to grow in ways you can't even imagine yet. You want me to trust myself and absolutely no one else? Naruto asked for clarity. Yes! Other Naruto nearly shouted triumphantly. You have the knowledge and the experience. You do. Knowledge and experience no one else in the village can ever hope to claim. Use it. Become uniquely the best that you can be. Teach others your experiences after you've broken through to the other side. From the darkness to the light, and it's a cycle. The more you give, the more you grow. You'll find that you're not some loser. You're someone who's inspiring others. Remember, it's all about perspective. Embrace this journey that you're on, because we only get one. And don't shy away from who you really are, or who you want to be. Oh, Naruto muttered. I'll try to see it differently then. Think of everything we've experienced so far. In the training grounds, you could have given Asuma-sensei a real fight, but you chose to hide. After Jiraiya and Dad's training, you were easily equipped to fend off our sensei. On our first mission, you were outwitted by the enemy and overtaken by the fox. Had you kept a cool head, you could have had the appropriate answers at your fingertips. Our clash with Team 7 after our first mission, you should have easily won that scramble against Shikamaru. You had all the tools to win. Then we did well in the border dispute, and just when I thought we were going in the right direction, you abandoned Hinata at the training grounds when that heavy fog rolled in and things got a little sketchy. You sort of turned it around in the Forest of Death by sloppily fighting off the 3 ninja. They were nothing compared to you, but you barely pulled out a win anyway. Jiraiya taught us the Rasengan before we had any right to know it, and you've repeatedly claimed to have forgotten how to use it. You can't claim that the world is so down on you and then act a failure every time a challenge presents itself to you. When Atsui fought us in the tower, you let the fox take over again, and I get it. We can blame Jiraiya for messing up the seal, but we've been taught how to deal with that exact struggle, and you just buckled to the fox's pressure. How we got through the final stage of the Chunin exams is beyond me, based on past performance. And all that training Orochimaru gave us, and you haven't used any of it. You seem to wobble easily between incompetent and skilled, but you don't have to. You could be a champion of our class. When Orochimaru was in trouble, do you really think we couldn't have done anything more to help him? Of everyone there, we had the best chance to save him, and yet we still let him... If for no one else, you need to be better for yourself. Prove that you're worthy to yourself. Naruto opened his eyes as if from a dream to an angry-looking man with a blue mark running along the bridge of his nose. So startled by the man, Naruto leapt backward and his fear response kicked the fox into gear. Forgetting the shock against the man's sudden presence, Naruto clutched at his head, hoping to fully suppress the fox. The man made several comments in Naruto's direction, but he heard nothing as he looked around for Sakura, but no one else was present.
My turn,
the fox muttered as Naruto felt his limbs get taken from him. Without transforming, the fox formed several hand seals with Naruto's limbs that Naruto was unfamiliar with. He had no idea if the fox was going to attack the man or destroy the waterfall or anything else. The combination of hand seals formed were totally unknown to Naruto. Slamming the completed jutsu into the ground at long last, the fox created a warp in the ground as the stone turned seemingly into a liquid. Without a second's thought, the Naruto-controlled fox leapt into the stone liquid and landed elsewhere. Glancing up, he watched the portal close, and Fox Naruto snickered.
That's the flying Raijin for you.
The fox taunted, as if it understood the technique more than Naruto did. Looking around, Naruto felt the fox's control leave him, followed by a weakening holler of frustration as if the fox did not expect to lose control so quickly. But now, the fox had left him in an unknown, though not strictly unfamiliar place. He remembered this grey landscape from just after he was taken from the Iwa city. As if there was a constant sandstorm, he was walled in by blankets of grey sand and stood upon grey parched ground. He shook his head in confusion as to why the fox would bring him back here. He remembered as well the weird people that attacked him when he was last here and wondered how he was meant to escape. As if on cue, one of those robed figures emerged from the opaque sand barrier surrounding him and stared at him stoic. "What do you want?" Naruto shouted at the figure, but his heightened voice was almost lost against the storm. Walking to within inches of Naruto, the figure performed a quick jutsu that erected walls around them and buffered the screaming storm. "How have you come to us twice, child?" the woman asked. "It's the fox!" Naruto told her unabashedly. Perhaps he shouldn't have, but he just went from a peaceful conversation with himself to a quick possession of the fox, where it threw him into this unpleasant space yet again. He was still trying to keep up with what was happening. "Yes, the Nine Tails," the woman answered with a quick nod. "That means you are Naruto Uzumaki." "What do you want?" Naruto asked, skipping the pleasantries. "Bring me with you when you leave this place," the woman told him. "I don't even know how to leave myself. It's always the fox," Naruto muttered, annoyed that the fox was so powerful that it could lock him in a space like this with no chance of returning. Although it had to be noted that the fox claimed it was the flying Raijin. Perhaps there was a way to alter the technique to allow for random teleportation, or some such. Naruto's first thought was to give control to the fox willingly so it could bring him back, but then he remembered what his inner self had said. He was capable of nearly anything, he just had to stop relying on others to solve his problems. "I'll try, but it'll take some time," Naruto revised his answer to the silent woman. "We don't have time," the woman told him with finality. "The others will find us soon, and they will be far more violent with you." "Why?" Naruto asked, but she shook her head silently. "They want to leave as well, but they mustn't," she said in a whisper. Spinning in place, the woman said, "Too late!" as the barrier of earth around them broke to pieces, revealing dozens of other cloaked people around Naruto and the woman. Again, his instinctual response was to rely on the fox, but it took a great deal of concentration to not do that. As the people around him began converging on him, his consciousness retreated into itself, and he found himself in a familiar yellowed hall, staring at the fox from beyond a great gate. The water at his feet had been dyed an orange glow, and he feels sick to his stomach walking closer to the fox.
"One slip, boy,"
the fox murmured.
"One slip, and I have control again."
Shaking his head at the fox, Naruto answered, "No more slips. You're staying there."
"Then you're stuck where you are with those cretins,"
the fox answered.
"Only I can get you out of there."
"Unless I can make you tell me how to leave," Naruto told him, gaining confidence and marching closer to the huge gates. The bars of the gate were far enough apart that Naruto could have easily entered into the cell with the fox. Interrupting his contemplation about the bars, the fox reaches through them with a hand and takes grip of Naruto.
"It's just so easy,"
the fox smiled.
"You're on the wrong side of the gate,"
Naruto wheezed, breaking free from the fox's grip. A tendril of chakra now connected Naruto to one of the fox's tails, as the latter pulled on it and threatened to bring Naruto past the gate and into the cell. Resisting the pull, Naruto pinned his feet against the ground and watched it form into ridges for him to easily anchor himself against. It came natural to him. Of course, the space outside the cell would form to his liking, so he could best resist the fox. But did that mean the space inside the cell would also adhere to the fox's needs? Bracing himself against the pull of the chakra cord, Naruto groaned against the fox's strength. It wasn't as strong as he expected, but perhaps being imprisoned limited the fox. When Naruto tried to match strength with the fox, the latter would slowly gain ground. But if Naruto took moments to heave with as much might as he could, he gained substantial ground back. But this wasn't the real world, and Naruto wasn't running out of breath, nor were his muscles growing tired. This was a battle of chakra and willpower, and the foxes had to have been stifled by the prison, judging by the comparative resistance. A tug of war for control over his own body, Naruto found the fox's strength constant and unending. He had no idea how he was expected to win over this monster. As Naruto holds a greater grip on the chakra rope, the air crackles from the tension and the uprooted ground trembles against the pressure. Building his foundation of strength from hope, love, resilience, and transforming his memories of experience into powerful allies, Naruto pulls harder than ever, as a ghostly memory of his father joins him in the struggle. Adding to him, Jiraiya, Hinata, Asuma-sensei, Tenten, Sasuke, Sakura slowly attach themselves to his end of the rope and aid in his tugging. Even with all their help, however, the fox continues to pull Naruto closer to the gate. White light and a reassuring warmth envelop Naruto's hands as a woman's voice whispers, "Pull, Naruto, pull." The contest climaxes with a sudden surge of will, and Naruto taps into his innermost belief, an unwavering flame that ignites his spirit. With a final heave, he pulls the rope to an absolute advantage, and teetered off balance, the fox lunges forward, its tail pulling through the bars of the gate. Conjuring a brace from nothingness with his own imagination, Naruto plunges it down to pin the fox's tail. Growling and roaring protest at its tail being pinned, the fox attempts to reach through with a hand again, but the gate's bars have tightened. Breathless and exhilarated, Naruto stands triumphant, having faced the fox head-on and emerged stronger. Turning to his memories, Naruto watches them all dissolve away again, including the white light that came of its own accord. Placing a hand on the tail, Naruto cringes as he inherits some of the fox's power. And its memories. All he could hear was a woman screaming as he was draped by darkness. As her pained gasps weakened, he found himself staring up at the evening sky, freed at last. Whirling in place, the fox looked down to behold his previous Jinchuriki, Kushina Uzumaki, laying nearly lifeless on the ground below. He leaned in close, curious as to what caused the seal to unlock. Standing beside Kushina was another man with red hair, and Kurama lifted a hand to push the man away. Kushina only had moments to live. Doubtless she would not want strangers to surround her. It had spent a lot of time inside of Kushina, and had remarkably grown fond of her fiery nature. Though it was never willing to outright work alongside her, the fox also found that it didn't want her to die. Jumping over its paw, the red-haired man jabbed a spike into the fox's hand, catching its attention. Once meeting gaze with the man, the fox found that it could only see the multi-ringed Rinnegan eyes of the man. These eyes were not so different from the Sage of Six Paths, and seemed to match its capabilities as the fox suddenly lost control of its body. It could still see everything it did, but could effect no change as it began wreaking havoc on the village. After fighting a Kage-level opponent, the fox's attention was pulled again by the Rinnegan man to return to the spot where Kushina was. And when Kurama returned, it found the man standing over an unconscious fourth Hokage. Kurama wondered why the man would leave the Hokage alive, but it was then that more leaf shinobi appeared around the man. Jiraiya and Tsunade, Fugaku Uchiha, Hiyashi Hyuga, Shikaku Nara, Choza Akamichi, and Inoichi Yamanaka, the heads of the strongest clans, and 2 of the Sannin came to the defense of their fallen Kage. As the red-haired man engaged with the 7 great defenders of Konoha, Kushina regained consciousness. Recognizing her predicament, she conjured the Reaper Death Seal, signing the fox to its contract. She went on to seal as much of its power as she could within herself, leaving just a sliver remaining to regenerate inside her infant son. As the fox's consciousness faded, it watched as the red-haired man fought on equal grounds with those who outnumbered him. Returning to consciousness, Naruto looked around at the people surrounding him, pinning him to the ground. "Fox," Naruto thought to himself, "get me out of here and I'll give you back your tail." After a moment of struggling with the people around him, 2 hands of chakra emerged from his midsection, knocking everyone away before performing several hand seals. Just as before, it slammed into the ground and turned it into a liquid version of itself. Rolling into the portal, Naruto escaped the realm once more, slamming into the more familiar, cold mud of the world he knew.
Give me back my power!
The fox demanded from within for doing Naruto that favor.
I even brought you close to friends.
No, Naruto answered defiantly, picking himself up and brushing off the mud. Raising his head, he beheld a rolling countryside. Sighing, he continued onward, and when the fox attempted to argue against him, Naruto finally found that he could silence the beast. Though, if that memory was anything to go by, Kurama had become fond of his mother, Kushina. Kurama? That name again. I'm just gonna start calling you Kurama, Naruto said as he walked. And if that's not your name, tell me. Silence returned to him, and he smiled with a relaxed shrug. He had no idea where he was in relation to the spiked turtle, or in fact anything else. He couldn't even remember the turtle's name now that he thought of it. Really, he should have paid more attention. Sakura will probably be upset that he left nearly as soon as he arrived, but he had no control over that. After a while, Naruto rounded a bend of trees and beheld a rather large estate in the middle of nowhere. He approached gingerly before being met himself by an older woman who's tending a nearby garden, her long golden hair shining as bright as the sun. "Hello there," she greeted kindly, straightening from her work and walking towards him. "Are you looking for someone in particular?" No, Naruto said. "I'm just trying to get my bearings, trying to get back to Konoha." "Oh, I thought you looked familiar," the woman exclaimed with a clap. "You must be Naruto then." How'd you know?" Naruto asked, perplexed by the overly friendly stranger. "Even if lost, you found your way to the Namikaze estate," the woman welcomed to Naruto's amazement. Why did the fox offer such kindness to Naruto? Was its one tale of chakra and memories that important to it? Why did it know where the Namikaze estate even was? Perhaps that was a memory from its past Naruto did not yet know. "Can someone here send word to Konoha of my whereabouts?" Naruto asked, trying to think of the best use of their assistance. "Yes, of course we can. Come on in, we'll send a bird right away," the woman offered, inviting Naruto to enter the estate. Though it was itself a very large property, there were no more than 10 Namikaze living here. They all seemed a part of the same close-knit family, though. The current matriarch was an old lady they all referred to as grandmother, while the remainder of the clan were younger members. They told Naruto that the Namikaze clan had 3 different estates across the Land of Fire, and if he didn't know it already, that Minato was in fact the clan head at the moment. He had tried many times to pass the roll-off once he made Hokage, but the family unanimously agreed on him regardless. Minato was the shining star, once in 10 generations, and not someone they were willing to pass up on. While Naruto stayed with them, they regaled him with the histories of the Namikaze clan and how his father came to choose being a ninja. Even from a young age, he was always a light in any darkness that threatened to consume. But weeks passed with no returned word, so they opted to send a second messenger bird. It wasn't a foolproof system. If a larger bird of prey encountered the messenger bird, or it landed for a rest and was taken by any matter of predator on the ground. However, it was rare even for that to happen, so it raised some concern. If a second bird failed its delivery, then it would change from slightly concerning to just downright foreboding. But the Namikaze are hopeful and aren't ready to abandon hope yet. And in the meantime, while they wait for the returned word from Konoha, they spend time with Naruto. Having been trained by his father in the art of the flying Raijin, none of the family present could train him to enhance that practice. On the other hand, he was left wanting in terms of his sensory ability, so they spent all their time sharing what they could in that regard. His father told him that the Namikaze, like the Uzumaki, were blessed with a strong lifespan and chakra, but in his sessions with them, Naruto came to realize that even the adults of the clan did not even hold a candle to his chakra endurance. What his father's cousins insisted could take years to learn in terms of widening the sensor's range, Naruto was already able to do. So instead of teaching him something that he could work on over time, they spent their time on more pinpoint skills, such as detecting types of chakra, or hiding his own chakra against others. Several more weeks pass, however, and they receive no word from Konoha. Considering who leads Konoha, they do not think that Konoha has fallen. Instead, their messages must be intercepted intentionally. Intent on returning Naruto to his father, 3 of the clan decide to travel with Naruto back to Konoha on foot. None of them are combatants, but traveling together offers greater security, and they want to investigate why their birds were being cut off regardless. They hadn't even left the site of the estate yet when they were headed off by 2 people, interrupted at the start of their journey. Akatsuki, one of the Namikaze men with Naruto recognized from their cloaks. Lord Forth warned us about them sneaking around. We aren't ninja, there's no way we can fight these people, another complained. I am, Naruto corrected, stepping ahead of them. If they're here for you, take this time to flee. Grasping the fox chakra that he had now had easy access to, and breathing in the need to prove himself, Naruto rolled his shoulders and pulled 2 kunai from his pack, freshly restocked by his Namikaze family. I got the boy, Conan, the man insisted, raising a great hammer on his shoulder, while readying an axe in his other hand. You can take the rest. Without acknowledging the man, Conan slowly walked towards the group. Jinin, don't be a fool, she answered as she came within range of Naruto, who threw a cleaving stroke with one of his kunai. Taking the hit head-on, Conan tore like paper into 2 pieces. 2 pieces that rebuilt themselves into 2 full copies of her. Put your toys away, boy, Conan said, walking past Naruto uncontested. As he turned to get her attention, he found himself set upon by Jinin and his heavily falling mallet. Deflecting the mallet with just a hair's breadth of safety, Naruto leapt away from his opponent and re-established an equal field for them both. Naruto's heart begins to race as he looks upon the seasoned warrior and thinks about the ways in which he might outmaneuver the man. But simultaneously, the longer Conan goes unfettered, the more damage she might do to the Namikaze clan here. Swallowing hard, Naruto's feet sink slightly into the damp ground beneath them, and a slight mist swirls into the field, amplifying the atmosphere of impending conflict. Taking the offense once again, Jinin charges forward, his stocky frame propelling him with surprising speed. With a roar, he swings the mallet, aiming to crush Naruto properly this time. Naruto reacts instantly, drawing on the limited control he has over the Nine-Tails chakra. He quickly dodges to the side as the mallet crashes into the ground and leaves a veritable crater in its wake. That all? Naruto asked, despite himself, as he danced around the backside of Jinin and punching him square in the back to no effect. Undeterred, Jinin followed up with a swift axe swing. Nimbly dodging again, Naruto uses his own agility to stay out of reach. Despite moving fast himself, Jinin's swings were considerably slower. As such, Naruto moves around the field, testing Jinin's reaction speeds. Come on now, show me more, Naruto taunted, feeling his confidence grow. Naruto felt the ferocious heat of the Nine-Tails chakra energizing him as he took a breath for his first flourish. Handle this! He shouted as he activated the Flying Raijin, appearing at the mark he had placed with his punch on Jinin's back. With a burst of energy, Naruto unleashed a chain of strikes, and each connected with just as slight an impact as before. Finishing his flurry, Naruto flipped around for a wheel kick, smashing Jinin in the face, and finally sending him flying. Feeling the momentum shift clearly in his favor, Naruto grins and his eyes sparkle with the heat of the fight. Landing on his feet regardless, Jinin spins around, clearly determined to regain control. He swings his axe in a wide arc, aiming to catch Naruto in the open. It's only been a handful of seconds since Naruto placed his mark, and so before it expires, he uses it again just to dodge the swing. Jinin swirls in fury at Naruto's smaller stature and quicker moves, this time driving his mallet down again. Naruto yet again teleports behind the man, but Jinin already had his axe swinging that way with the other hand. Lurching to avoid the axe, Naruto falls from his feet and has to roll away from the Akatsuki. Taking the form of a third arm, the fox's harnessed chakra sprouts from Naruto. It's been some time since he's used wind techniques he's learned through his time with Asuma-sensei. But the Waterfall of Truth reminded him that he was in fact taught the Rasengan a long time ago. Focusing chakra into the palm of the fox hand, Naruto attempted to force the formation of a Rasengan. He never ever practiced it, but surely with enough chakra pouring into one spot, he could create a faux Rasengan. In the sparse seconds that Naruto spent trying to focus his chakra, Jinin has closed the distance with his mallet, coming at Naruto yet again. Reaching forward with the fox arm in desperation to block the strike, Naruto blindly hoped for success. Though it was no Rasengan, such a concentration of chakra created enough counter-force that Jinin's hammer shredded from the impact and crumbled to pieces. Stunned that his mighty Kabutowaри had been felled, Jinin stares at his now emptied hand for a moment.
"You've got strength, kid," Jinin admits with a nod of respect. "I didn't expect that."
Dropping his axe to the ground, Jinin brought his hands together and began weaving signs.
"Water style! Water hail!"
The light mist at their feet condensed into tiny droplets of water that also reshaped into thin needles that launched at Naruto. "Wind style! Whirlwind wall!" Naruto shouted, raising his fox arm as well to guard. Most of the water hail that struck Naruto's quick wall were destroyed, and the few that survived it had lost all their offensive power. Canceling each other out, Naruto spared no time in trying to form another Rasengan. Jinin picked up his axe again, and now, without two weapons to weigh him down, closed the distance nearly instantly. Abandoning the Rasengan attempt yet again, Naruto dove for cover, rolling to regain his feet as quickly as possible.
"Have you forgotten what the snake Sanin taught you?"
Kurama seethed with frustration that Naruto had lost his focus and was tunnel visioning on the Rasengan that he couldn't even properly do. Having lost his cool in the heat of combat, Naruto could barely comprehend Kurama's words as he was forced on the backstep to dodge Jinin's attacks.
"Your clan is going to burn to ash if you keep wasting time on this idiot,"
Kurama growled again.
"Where did your focus go?"
"Shut up!" Naruto answered, glancing towards the Namikaze estate and seeing a great plume of black smoke reaching into the sky from it. "Stand still!" Jinin barked, himself growing frustrated that even still, Naruto was dodging his more than deadly strikes. "Come on, I can do this!" Naruto urges himself, struggling to focus for the Rasengan. Another swing of the axe and Naruto barely dodges, feeling the rush of wind as it swipes past him. "Rasengan!" Naruto shouts as the chakra begins to form again, before the sphere of power flickers and fades before he can place it.
"I'm no practice dummy,"
Jinin shouted, realizing Naruto's struggle. Naruto glances at Jinin, who's smirking at his repeated failures and confident in his own strength.
"I won't give up,"
Naruto declares, shaking off his frustration. He knows Jinin hasn't successfully hit him yet, so he can't let his taunts get to him. Focusing hard and visualizing the swirling energy in his mind, Naruto shouts to himself, "I can do this!" Feeling the warmth in his palm, Naruto watches as it finally takes shape. His fox arm has fully encased his own arm to offer structure and support to maintain the Rasengan's form. "Rasengan!" Naruto shouts again in victory more than declaration as he watches the familiar form of swirling chakra finally take hold. Turning his full attention to Jinin, who has slowed his attack now that he sees the pure, swirling chakra, Naruto grins triumphantly. Thrusting his arm forward, Naruto shouted pointedly, "Rasengan!" as the fox arm lifted the ball of chakra from his hand and extended a further 20 feet before smashing into Jinin's chest. "Gah!" Jinin wheezed as the Rasengan sent him hurtling an additional 40 feet into the nearby woods. Beaming, Naruto takes just a moment to pump a fist in celebration before refocusing and running back to the Namikaze estate. Throwing a Raijin kunai, Naruto expedites his return to the estate to rush to their defense. Appearing in front of Konan, Naruto swipes down with the fox chakra arm, but instead of splitting her in twine again, the pure chakra of the fox burns her entirety to ash, and all her clones vanish along with the main body vanishing. Activating his sensory ability, Naruto senses Conan's true body fleeing into a nearby forest. Forgetting about her, Naruto returns to Jinin in the forest, where he's survived the perfectly placed blow, but is now in shambles. "Kill my family?" Naruto asked him with a darker tone. "Or me?" You... Jinin muttered, barely able to breathe through a broken ribcage. Grinning darkly at the Akatsuki member, Naruto looked at his own still-brandished fox arm and began forming a second Rasengan. It was a troubling thing, working out how and where they will confront Minato. If anyone was to catch wind of their little plot, they'd not just inform his dad, but join him to defend him. Naruto contemplated whether his allies in the matter were willing to risk their life for this. They seemed to easily agree to it, but that didn't change that they were going to fight the Hokage. Even if they sought to simply shackle or disable him, there was bound to be some fighting. On the bright side, though perhaps concerning for different reasons, Naruto has noticed that there are no patrolling Anbu anymore in Konoha. On one hand, where are they? On the other, that's a substantially weaker potential force to fly to Minato's defense at the last second. It should only be a matter of confronting Minato at the right time of day to guarantee the path of least resistance. But already Kiba nearly discovered their meeting. Who else would be roped in from the outside before the ultimate showdown? Blinking slowly, Naruto looked out from his bedroom window, wondering why the Jonin of Konoha have not detected this impending danger. And that's the end of today's episode. I tried to shorten it a little, but I still ended up extending more than expected. I wanted the fight with Jinin to be more detailed, but I don't do prolonged fights very much, so let me know how that turned out. This for Naruto is heavily condensed. I could have easily made this as long as the Sasuke episode. So I hope that I didn't do a disservice to Naruto's episode for keeping a lot of it compact. Anyway, in the continued efforts to keep this episode short, let's jump into the riddle right away and end from there. In lands unfit for the brave and bold, where shadows dance and stories unfold, I train my strength where dangers loom, in spaces crafted for certain doom. Yet onward I journey, despite the risk, to realms where nightmares and legends brisk. With courage as my guide, I press on through, to face the trials that none dare pursue. Until next time, the sky's the limit.